All right, we're recording. Happy Monday, Inspire Beauty. So pumped to be back on the mic tonight. We had some amazing guest speakers the last like month. And I'm just so grateful for everyone on our team and on our sister teams that spoke to you guys, to me, breathed life into us, and I'm back. I'm back with just a renewed energy. Speaking of energy, did you get your Mixed Berry energized today? If you didn't, literally get off this call. Like, stop looking at me, stop talking to me, stop all the madness and go get some, right? This is our newest flavor, and from what I hear, a scoop of this and a scoop of Hydrate is like summer in your mouth. Don't knock it till you try it. If you didn't order Hydrate too, maybe go and tag that on your order. Next, I want to shout out everybody on our Success Club leaderboard for the month of May. We've got so many names on here. Annie and Leah, shout out to them. They've locked in Success Club. This means lives are being changed. So freaking hyped watching you guys change and transform lives, because when we transform other people's lives, guys, the biggest gift is often our lives end up being transformed too, right? When you hear from that person that they finally dropped the pounds, or, you know, because of you, they didn't give up, or today they had you on their mind because they were about to do this, and then they heard you in the back of their head and they made a better choice, right? And so like that's the prize, right? And so in order to get to that though, we have to reach out to people, we have to invite them in, and we have to say, let's do this together. And so I'm just so proud of all these names on the board and all the names that are going to end up on the board in the next week. I just can't wait to see how this blows up. Mark your calendars, please, for me. Next week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's Memorial Day. We will not have team training next Monday because of Memorial Day. I will give you that holiday off to spend with your family. But we are going to be doing a flash sale. And it's going to start on Monday. Now, I know a lot of people aren't on their phones, or they're kind of unplugged because of Memorial Day. Now, it'll be different this year, and I get that. But in general, what I find is usually on a holiday, like a Monday holiday, like a Labor Day or Memorial Day, usually people aren't as tuned in to social media. So we're going to kick off the flash sale on that Monday. It will go all day Tuesday, and then it will close on Wednesday. So this is going to help you end the month strong. These are the 3 packs that are going to be a part of our flash sale, as well as there will be a bonus where people can, if they didn't tag on, if they didn't get the energy and results or the glow getter, then you can tag on a Mixed Berry energized. So I'm just kind of like hyping that up since it's a new flavor. So that's also going to be included. But this is the starter pack that's on sale this month. You guys, the way I've been telling people, you get a full year of Beachbody On Demand for free. For free. A full year for free with the purchase of your monthly supplement. Right? And so that's kind of how I've been phrasing it for people, especially people who've been giving me like the money excuse, right? This is a great time. You're getting a whole year of like your gym for free. What gym membership is giving you a year for free right now? This pack is just Shakeology, and because Recover, I heard through the grapevine that some of it is back in. That's awesome. You can also advertise the performance pack too if somebody wants to go with that. But this one just tags on Energize, and then this one tags on Energize and Collagen. Those will be our 3 featured packs in this flash sale. I will put more information on the team page, you guys, coming up in the next couple days. There is some skin in the game if you are inviting people into our flash sale, because a flash sale only works when you offer incentives. I'm going to be doing the big raffle prize at the end of the flash sale, but anyone that purchases from you, there's going to be a sort of monetary exchange, like a $10 Amazon gift card or a $5 Amazon gift card, depending on what pack size they buy. So if you are adding people into this flash sale, first of all, I highly recommend you to add people into it, because every time I do a flash sale, my business blows up. It's worth it. But number 2, you're also agreeing that you are going to be giving that gift to said people. So all that information will be there, and you can decide on the team page. But just mark your calendars that that's coming next week. Let's dive in. I picked this, I found this photo on our team page. It's from May 17th. How funny. 2017. So about 3 years ago in May, I posted this, and I want a full disclosure. At this point, I'd been working the business probably for I was into my 4th year of the business, okay? And I want you to know that on this post, and I'm looking at it on my phone right now, so I'm not lying. I'm literally not lying. I'm looking at it because I'm going to read it to you. It had 1 like, and it's a coach that's not even on our team anymore. So I just want you to know, 4 years into the business on our team page, this picture and what I'm about to read to you, which I think is like, I personally believe it's gold, which is why I'm kind of reteaching a little bit of it tonight. It had 1 like, and the coach that liked it isn't even here. I want you to let that like sink in for a second. My next move, and we're going to talk about your next move and all that stuff tonight, but my next move is never, ever, ever to give up on myself, give up on my dreams, and give up on the people that are counting on me, whether that's my clients, my coaches, my family, my team family, right? Or my family. I'm never going to give up on the people that are believing and counting in me. Okay. And so it's just funny and ironic that this post only had 1 like, and it's a coach that's not even here. So I shared that I was chatting. I happened to be chatting with a coach that morning in a one-on-one. And I shared with her that I realized, I shared with her something after we were talking, and I wanted to share it with the entire team. We kind of walked through this together on our one-on-one that day. That's why it's kind of like chicken scratch on the back of a piece of paper. And I said, you do not need to know how to run all aspects of a successful business on day 1. You begin making parts of your journey habitual and then add bricks to the layers. I wanted to create a visual to show this, so I made a pyramid. Notice the base, self-care. Your first assignment as a coach is to get comfortable with taking care of you. You will be of no help to anyone else if you are not cared for properly. That's something that was 4 years ago or 3 years ago, 4 years into my business. I'm still preaching that today, right? Like the back of our shirts we just bought say it starts with me, right? I still preach that because I believe that this is the foundation of everything else. Then the next layer, living your life through the lens of a coach. This means social media posts, crafting a voice and a brand that allows people to know you from the crowd. Work on your journey, then share it for others to be inspired. I believe that's the second level of coaching. So once you get this whole self-care thing down, you move on to like living your life through the lens of a coach. Okay, then you work on talking to people, adding to your friends list daily, sending new messages daily, learning how to craft better invites, following up with people, touching base with your team and current customers, replying to comments, just talk to people, right? Being a kind human. Then you run groups, free groups, challenge groups, whatever your heart desires, coach training groups, I don't care, you run groups. That's where we have accountability. That's where people have their results, right? Then you invite people to join your team, you grow a team, and then you lead others to duplicate what you are doing. You become a leader. It is a process, a journey. Don't play it safe by staying on the bottom though. The view is so much better at the top. I challenge you to stretch yourself, but also know that you don't have to master this whole pyramid overnight. There are times where I've found myself right back down at the base and have to crawl my way back up. It happens to the best of us. It's about persistence in this little game called life. The most fun part of this business is that you are always learning and growing. It can never be boring or stale because you are in charge of what you're doing. And there will never be a moment where you have it all figured out. It's a living, breathing thing we do as coaches, and it will constantly be evolving. Notice the thread that weaves its way to the top: trainings and professional development. Be a constant student, my friends. Always have that hunger to learn more. Get on Zooms, national wake-up calls, and one-on-ones. Plug into team trainings and challenge yourself to be actively engaged the whole time. Be present on our team page, resource page, and bookworms group. You guys, those were different pages we had back then. We don't have all of those anymore. But we still do the same sorts of things. Stay hungry. You can never know too much. And my favorite part, notice the top. You can't possibly be at the top and lead others if you don't do each and every layer underneath you. Leaders practice everything they expect their team and challengers to also practice. There isn't a thing I ask you to do that I would never do. There isn't anything I request of you that I'm not already doing or have done. Never forget that. So here's the deal. Self-care holds everything up. Sharing consistently on social media makes you a reliable and relatable figure. When you talk to people, you have a unique opportunity to help them. Groups change people's lives. This team changes people's lives. And getting to see it spider web out is priceless. Oh, I cried on our, let me stop this share. I cried on our book club on Saturday. Annie got me all choked up about her leadership as a school teacher. Oh my gosh, how powerful. If you weren't on that, so powerful that what she shared with us about just getting to read to her students, and maybe it's just one or two, but it was so powerful and it touched me. But even reading this, like, guys, I wrote this 3 years ago to our team. No one cared, by the way, when I wrote it. Which is like my favorite part. Like, womp womp, nobody cared when Brittany wrote that. And I read it back today and it's still so true. Like, I want to like copy that as if I'd never read it to you tonight and share it all over again on the team page like it's brand new and see if it speaks to our team differently. When I posted that, and that one coach that liked it, you know, and ended up quitting the business, if I allowed my success and my next move to be determined on how many likes it got, did my team actually benefit from it? Did the one person who liked it actually get on my team call and then go hit Success Club and rank advance? And no, she didn't, then she quit. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I should just quit, right? Like if it was all because of that outcome, we wouldn't be sitting here today. The thing is, there's always choices to make in this business. And tonight I kind of wanted to take you guys a little bit on my journey, especially as I'm like nostalgically getting ready to move into this new house and just close out a little bit of a chapter and begin opening a new one. I kind of wanted to just like take it back for you guys a little bit and share with you some of my moves in this business and like the reality behind it. Because I think sometimes when we hear how someone else did it, it encourages us like, okay, I'm on track. Yeah. So is it cool if I do that with you guys tonight? If I take you on a little like back in the day? Okay. And some of you might know some of these things and some of you might be like, I've never heard that in my life, which is good. I want you to hear how this came to be, the thing that you're a part of right now. So day one was October 2nd, 2013. Okay. I signed up because I knew I wanted more, flat out. Like I knew the life I was living wasn't like what I should have been doing. I felt stuck in my life. I was completely surrounded by a lot of toxic environment, people, all the things, and I just wanted more. But here's the deal, I wasn't equipped. I wasn't in no place to be coaching others on their life and giving other people positive advice. Okay? I had no business telling people to eat healthy because truth be told, I would go to the bar and I would drink way too much that I would ever want to share with you guys. And then I'd end up at McDonald's afterwards because I didn't want to eat in front of the people I was drinking around because we were all like really, you know, particular about the way we looked and image. And so like I didn't eat poorly around people because I didn't want them to think that's how I ate. So I'd wait until after I was like, you know, pretty gone for the night. And then I'd go drive through McDonald's. I'd eat the McDonald's in my car and I'd throw it away in a trash can before I even got in the house because I didn't want anybody to even see it in my own trash can. Like, I just really want you to see that because that's who I was, okay? I wasn't equipped, but I knew I wanted more. And so I leapt anyway. I just joined the stinking thing because I knew that this could be my key. In November, so that was in October, November was when I joined my first coach training. So in all of October, I did nothing. My coach like sent me all the things. I did nothing, right? In November, I finally joined a coach training. I finally bought a personal development book. I was like, okay, let me learn some of this stuff. And I actually sold one order of Shakeology, and it was to my friend's boyfriend's mom. What? I don't even know how I got that, but I'm pretty sure they like gave a link. So I had my first sale, and that's when I was like, oh, I can like make money selling this stuff. And that like lit a new light bulb in me. I just needed to sell that one Shakeology, you guys. And all of a sudden I was like, huh, okay, there's something here. Let me learn more. In December is when I began to invite to my very first group. It's also when I started my Instagram. So I didn't have an Instagram this whole time. December was when I finally created an Instagram. It's terrible. If you scroll all the way back to the very beginning of my Instagram, very terrible, very laughable. Please, like if you need a good laugh one night, go all the way back to my very beginning stages on Instagram. I also, like I said, invited to my first group. My first group that I invited to, you could join if you had a freaking pulse. I didn't care if you wanted to go run outside. I didn't care if you wanted to do Beachbody. I didn't care if you already had discs from 1984. Like I didn't care what you had. As long as you had a pulse, I put you in my group because I just wanted to practice. I just wanted to like do it, right? And I've never missed hosting a challenge group since then. I want that to be very clear. December of 2013, I started my first group, and I haven't missed inviting to one since. Does that mean I hit Success Club every month? No. But I set a standard for myself that every month, no matter what, I'd have a place that I could invite people to. I think it's really important, especially with bod groups right now, you guys. Some of you, your next move is hosting your own groups. I love you guys, and I love having you in my groups. Like, selfishly, I'm like, don't leave my groups ever. That's so selfish of me. Like, truthfully, the way that I leapt in this business was I was basically just like kicked out of the nest by my coach. Like, I'd never been in a group before. I'd never been in a challenge group before, but everything is figure outable. And I knew that if other people were doing it, I could do it too. So that was kind of like a catalyst for me to always have this like healthy pressure that I always needed to like take ownership of this thing that I was advertising, right? In January, coming into the New Year's, when I finally sold my very first challenge pack, and it had a lot to do with New Year's hype, right? In February, I signed my first coach, and I actually went Emerald. And that's when 21 Day Fix for the very first time launched. And that was the first program I did. You guys, I started in October, and I didn't start and complete a program till February. Are you seeing that? Like, my next step was like, Brittany, okay, you started learning some training, you started inviting people, you started getting groups, but you're not being proof of the products. Like, you're just inviting people to this stuff, and you don't actually do it. You have to do it. I mean, I was drinking Shakeology and all the things, but I wasn't actually doing Beachbody programs the way they were designed to do. So 21 Day Fix came out. I bought it on DVD, and I completed it. And it's also when I created a team page, because I had 2 coaches in February. I became Emerald. And that's when I made a team page. And so maybe some of you listening right now, your next step, as you're like, don't get it twisted. My team page wasn't anything great, and it actually had no name for a long time because I didn't know what to name it. That wasn't the point. The point was I wanted to practice leadership. I wanted to practice inspiring my team. I wanted to practice teaching my team how to hit Success Club. I wanted to practice that, right? Because I knew one day I'd have a bigger team, and so I had to practice small, right? And some of us are so afraid to practice small that we just don't even do anything at all, right? And so I created a team page on Facebook. I think I named it like No Name Team for now. And then we like voted, but we didn't really vote because like nobody cared except for me. So we voted, and I named it Team Our Victory, whatever. And that's what it was. And I just practiced. Like, if I saw my coach post something, I would like, I still added my coaches, my team into her page. And I still believe the same for you guys. Like, I believe that's a beautiful landing place for our culture. But a place for you to practice your own unique style of leadership, and the way you talk to your team and the way you hype your team up can happen in another setting too. I want to encourage you with that. Okay, let's fast forward. So June is when I attended my very first summit. I juggled also the rest of that year, like 2014. So we're kind of in 2014 now. I juggled how to do this while I was a teacher, while I had a boyfriend living long distance, all the things. Like, I didn't really know how to juggle it, and I did it poorly. But remember, every month I had something I was inviting to. Even if I didn't fill it up, even if I didn't get my 3 people, I was still inviting to it, and I served the people I already had. Okay, so even though maybe that full year was like just crazy trying to figure it out, like, you might be in that boat where you're like, I don't know how to make this work with like the life I have right now and the work I'm doing and all the things. Just keep going. You're gonna figure it out, right? So a lot actually changed because in that month let me see, where am I? Somewhere in there, I got engaged. And I started this business single, and then I got engaged. And like, I think it's important to note, and I put this down in here because a lot of times, like, your life is gonna happen, and this business and this team and this Beachbody thing is also existing. They don't have to be separate. Like, they're allowed to coexist. They can be together. Like, so many times I see someone is going through this life situation, and because of it, I'm going to put this on pause. And I've been ranting a lot lately on social media, as well as in our groups, that busy and self-care can coexist. Busy and Beachbody and your business can coexist. We've been taught a lie that like when I get busy, I must just put everything else on the back burner that did matter to me at some point in time. That's a lie, and it's not serving you. Let me put my self-care on the back burner because I'm busy in life. Tell me, how's that going for you, right? It's never going well. Oh, I'm just gonna put my business on hold for a while because things are getting really busy in my life. Tell me, how's that going for you? Are you still thriving the way you used to thrive when you were invested in book club, when you're really, committed to your journey and going all in? Are you still thriving the way you were? I'm telling you, from a lot of years in the business, more often than not, the answer is no. So just fast forwarding a little bit, in 2015 was a year after I attended my very first summit. I finally went diamond. I left my teaching job. I moved to California, and that's when I started my blog, which I don't do my blog a ton anymore, but that's when I started my blog. And so when I look at these next steps, like my next step, I went diamond. Then my next step, like, okay, like I'm good at this. I'm running groups every month and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Okay, let me try this now. Let me try a blog. And I just kept adding layers on. I want you to know though that every summer up until that point, up until 2016, the summer of 2016, was when I finally had 2 coaches attend summit with me. Okay, so I started in 2013. I went to my very first summit in 14, went to summit in 15, just me. I mean, my upline coach was there and people from her team, but nobody from like my personal team. I want you to note that I was a diamond coach and I still attended summit and no one on my team wanted to come to summit, right? And so maybe you're in the same boat and you're like, Brittany, I am a diamond, or I'm in a leadership position and I still can't get my people to want to do this the way I want to do it. May I like encourage you today that that's normal, that it's okay, and that if you're believing this lie that just because you're diamond, that means everybody on your team wants to be diamond too, I think that's false, right? I also think that maybe you just haven't met the right people yet to bring onto your team, because that earlier version of our team, those people don't really exist anymore, and a lot of them are not part of our team anymore because the culture that we've created, they just didn't want to be a part of. So they kindly exited themselves off, right? In 2016, I battled depression for the very first time in my life. I also decided that we couldn't make ends meet, you guys. We got to a really rough patch financially, and I got 2 jobs. I went from being a school teacher to thinking I was going to be a full-time Beachbody coach. That was my next move. I'm going to be a full-time Beachbody coach. I'm leaving the classroom. I left the classroom only to fall flat on my face because I wasn't making enough money with my business. And I ended up getting a job at Lululemon, folding leggings, and Orange Theory Fitness, which mostly I scrub toilets. And I say that on purpose because I went from being a teacher using my degree that I had worked really hard for. So all of a sudden I was in this position where I was doing these jobs that I was like, why am I here? What am I doing? And I really considered going back to the classroom. And Charlie and I joke about it a lot, or we chat about it a lot, that wow, if I had gone back to the classroom, number one, like my business wouldn't have ever gone anywhere. But number 2, like I'd be a completely different wife. We'd have a completely different lifestyle. The freedoms and opportunities and choices I have right now, I would not have if I went back to the classroom. And I'm not saying that everyone's path has to be mine. I hope you're hearing me tonight because we're really going to talk about this, that the beauty of this tonight is my next move isn't your next move. I can't paint that for you. So I hope as I'm speaking, you're not like, she's telling me I have to do this. No. That's not my heart at all. But it did get really hard there. And we made a choice that I'd go to work. I was working 40 hours a week at both jobs. I look back on this and it's insane. And I let my business really slip. And I was also battling that I had just moved to California. I had a big life transformation where like I was no longer, like my identity in so many different categories was just not the same anymore. I was just at a loss. Charlie traveled for work all the time. Almost the whole month of December, he was in Taiwan on this big trip. And I watched my husband have this like magical life while I was folding leggings for holiday sales, right? I hated it. But you know what's crazy? Is that time at Orange Theory, you guys. First of all, Orange Theory Fitness, I met Kristen. So I can't ever, and I just thought of that one. That wasn't even like, I just saw her face and thought of that. That wasn't even where I was going to go. But like, that could just already stop me in my tracks, like mic drop. But number 2 is that, oh, also, by the way, like if you know Leia on our team who's in our groups and all, I met her at Orange Theory Fitness too. Like there's some people, like key people in my life that are important to me that I met because I was at that job. So I know I was placed there on purpose. But in terms of advancing my Beachbody business forward sort of thing, at Orange Theory Fitness, a 1-month membership is $180 in San Jose. $180 a month. That's unlimited. People swipe their credit card. They swipe their credit card and it is an auto renew month to month. And if you want to get out of the membership, you have to pay 1 more month and then you can get out. So if like I want it out today, it's like, we got to charge you 1 more time, Britt. That'd be like if somebody said, I want to get out of my Beachbody on Demand or get out of my Shakeology. And they're like, yeah, that's great. You just have to pay 1 more month and then we'll let you off the hook, right? We don't do that. If somebody doesn't want their Shakeology, they just cancel it. Yeah. But I learned there the value of what we have as coaches. I learned how to be better about sales. I learned how to talk to people better, to relate to them, to get them to pay $180 a month, because I was a sales team member at the time. And so my job was commission based. I mean, I made my hourly rate, but I hustled for a commission on that. And I learned how to talk to people. I learned how to do sales better. I learned how to, so everything, like it doesn't matter where you're at right now, might not be ideal. You guys, I hated cleaning toilets at Orange Theory Fitness. There's nothing grosser. Sarah can probably relate. There's nothing grosser than a gym's toilet after a workout. Like we all know where I'm going with this, right? Okay, hello, things get moving when you move. Not cool. I hated it. And I had just been a teacher. And so I'm like, Brittany, what are you doing with your life? You're going the opposite direction. That's how it felt. But you guys, God moves in really funny ways sometimes. What looks like an opposite direction or a downhill for us or a lull in something is an opportunity where God's getting us ready for something better and greater. It doesn't feel good in the moment though, promise. So on a random Wednesday night in 2016, my husband got a phone call. He was my fiance at the time. He had a phone call. Actually, it wasn't a night, it was a daytime. Funny enough, he started taking Wednesdays off work. This is when I was working all these jobs. He started taking Wednesdays off work because he wanted to, he was prepping to change jobs. No one knows this. You guys are the first to hear this. He was prepping to change jobs because he wasn't happy with his job and he wasn't making enough money to make ends meet, and just, it was a lot, right? And so he was kind of taking some classes at the time so that he could maybe apply for some other jobs. And so every Wednesday he would go into the office late, and in the mornings he would do his classes. Well, in the middle of his class on a random Wednesday, he got a phone call. And I could tell that it was a really, really, really important phone call from the tone of it and just everything. And within 48 hours, my husband, fiance at the time, was promoted to the executive director of the nonprofit that he had been working for. And our life in one phone call was changed. Our life changed in one phone call. It opened up financial opportunities for our family that weren't there. I could quit those jobs, you guys. I didn't have to just like fold leggings and hustle toilets for a living anymore. I could like come back to Beachbody. We actually had time to talk about getting a dog. That's when we got Frankie, because my husband got this promotion. We had space in our lives for this. I could be home with the dog. We got Frankie. I also want you to know that during that year, it was a challenging year. I lost my diamond that year. My rank dropped, right? A lot of things, when you look at my business and you kind of look at the numbers, everything dropped that year. Everything dropped. And so again, my next move, as things started to drop, as I was scrubbing toilets, as I was not living my, best life and all the things, a safe next move for me, something that was really safe, would have been going back to the classroom. That would have been a very safe yes, that would have saved me in the moment. It would have helped get rid of a lot of anxiety and worry for us. But I always knew that if I did that safe move, then I would probably never live the life that I was imagining, the one that made me sign up when I had no clue what the freak I was doing, right? So after that summer, by the way, that in August of that year, was like the biggest catalyst for change. My boss at Orange Theory Fitness, I had been working on getting my degree in NASM certification so that I could be a trainer instead of a sales associate. And my boss pulled me in, and I asked her, we were having a one-on-one talking about, how things were going and whatnot. And I wanted to share with her my update on my progress with my NASM because I was getting ready to transition to trainer, and I wanted to know her timeline on that. And so as we transitioned to that dialogue, she said to me, yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. So what are you going to do about this whole Beachbody thing when you become a trainer? And I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, you can't do both. You realize that, right? And I was like, no, I didn't realize that. Why can't I do both? And here's the deal. There's so many examples of coaches who do both. And I think it's so amazing. And I was just talking to somebody today about it. In your own CrossFit box, you can only help the people that are right here that can drive to that box, right? What if somebody in Oklahoma who can't make it to your studio that's in Texas needs your help? Now you have an opportunity to help them because of the tools that we have in our belt as coaches, right? Like, it just makes perfect sense to me. Now I could see if there was like a problem where, I was schlepping shakes across the counter to people when they came in for their class and like forcing them to buy stuff from me under the table. I was never doing that. I have so much integrity when it comes to that, right? And so I was so thrown off. And I remember driving home that day shaking. I almost had to pull over because I was shaking so hard. And I wrote my letter of resignation that day, and I gave her my 2 weeks, and I said, this is it. I'm drawing the line in the sand. And Charlie and I decided that I was going to go back to doing Beachbody full time, and I was going to make it work. And I drew a line in August of 2016, and I've never looked back. I haven't missed Success Club except for 1 month, and there's a story to that. I won't tell it right now though, but I've only missed Success Club 1 month since August of 2016. Okay. In 2017, you guys, I'm going to speed this up because there's so much more that I want to tell you, and I just want to get through all this. 2017 was a face down year for me. I spent a lot of 2016 doubting myself, doubting my business, not sure where I was going with all this. And so in 2017, my next move was just put your face down and get to work, right? That was like, I just had to I had to get my rank back. I had to get more coaches on board. That summer, we had 5 coaches who attended Summit. I had to create culture. That's when we created the name Inspire Beauty. That's when I created the name and branded the Self-Care Sisterhood. I had to start branding things. But I also decided to host a Super Saturday. And in that Super Saturday, and these are like quarterly events that Beachbody hosts. And at the time, there was no Super Saturday in my local area. And I was like, you know what? I think I'll just host it myself. And I remember I was going to host it in our apartment. We had just gotten Frankie, and we had this tiny little 1-bedroom apartment in San Jose. And I was like, I'm going to just host it here. There will probably be like 3 or 4 people that attend. And it blew up. There were like 25 people on the roster, and then still more people coming in like a couple days ahead of time. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I ended up hosting it at Charlie's nonprofit. They've got some like practice rooms for dancers and musicians and stuff. So I ended up hosting it there. And who walked in the door to that Super Saturday but this woman and her husband who had just moved to the area. She was a really successful coach. She didn't give me the time of day. She was so annoyed by everything I said, except when she looked down, I had a pen. It's so funny that this is sitting here. I didn't plan that, by the way. I had a pen sitting there. I actually had a lot of these pens because I wanted all my pens to match. These are the pens I used to steal from my church because they write really well. God forgives. So I would steal all these pens from my church. And I wanted all those pens to look the same at this event that I was hosting. I wanted to look so professional, right? And so I had all the same pens laid out. And as this woman picked up the pen, she looked at it and she's like, South Bay Church, do you go here? And I said, yeah, I go to South Bay. She's like, oh, we do too. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Which campus do you go to? North San Jose. Wow, that's the one I go to. Well, what time do you go to service? I go to the 8 a.m. We go to the 8 a.m. We've been going to the same service and hadn't realized it. This person ended up being my now best friend. Her name's Julianne Candia. She is gonna host a team call for us here in June. It's gonna be fire. But she taught me so much, she has taught me so much, But one of the coolest things was in a time when I was transitioning to do this full time, I realized that I'd been apologizing my entire time as a coach. I apologized for everything. I apologized for the price of challenge packs. I apologized for annoying people on social media. I apologized for I mean, I didn't actually apologize. I wasn't like going out and around saying, like, I'm so sorry. But like in the way, in my posture, in the way I stood, in the way I talked about my groups, in the way I communicated with others, I apologized without realizing I was apologizing. And by meeting that person in that time of my life, it changed everything. Because her posts on social media, if you follow her, if you're friends with her, the way she posts is unapologetically. And I learned how to post better. I learned how to craft my own voice. And so it was in that season that like a fire was just lit in me in branding and branding myself and branding the Self-Care Sisterhood and branding Inspire Beauty. And so it all started there, right? And then truthfully, 80 Day Obsession came out in 2018. It's the first program my husband ever did with me, you guys. And I tell you this piece of the story because you need to know that I started this business in 2013. And in 2018, 5 years later, was when my husband finally did a program from start to finish with me. Right? And so I know, like, as women, it can be like, oh, I just want him to believe in me, or I just want him to do this with me, or that's not for you to worry about. You got to worry about showing up for yourself and sticking around long enough so that they're inspired enough to do it. Right? Let's see here. And then in 2018, so many amazing things happened. We began to see duplication. People came out of the woodwork. Our team made hit 2-star that year. It was the first time I ever went on a Success Club trip, and I was able to gift that to my husband. We got married. I tapered off of my depression medication at the time, which led me in 2019 to be able to fly to Los Angeles for an all-paid trip to a new leader conference that Beachbody hosted. And then we got another phone call. And we got another phone call. It was a Monday this time. It's President's Day, actually. I'll never forget. Isn't it crazy? You can take a moment and you know that moment. Like, I'll never forget when I got that phone call. I'll never forget when you trace back, like, when did life actually change? When did that, and you trace it back, and it was another phone call. And my husband got recruited from a company somewhere in this place called Cedar Hill, Texas. I don't know. And they loved him. They thought he was incredible, and they really wanted to offer him this job. And then he told me, babe, maybe we'll move to Texas. And I said, okay, you're funny. That's so funny. And here we are. But my life flipped again, you guys. It flipped again. And that's just life, right? And every time we've come to these crossroads, we get to these places where like there's another move to do, and that we'll always have a choice, right? You're always going to come to another place, even if it's not a phone call and a big decision. You're going to come to places where you have a choice. Do I choose to stay stuck, right? Do I feel stuck? Do I choose to stay in this place? And you'll always have like that next move. And the problem is, though, when I say it like that, next move, you see my direction of my hand. The next move to me is forward. But what I've actually learned in this business is a lot of people's next move means that they're just going to do this. They actually don't make a choice, or they actually just kind of go back to the way life was. And I always think of those quotes that are like, why would you go back to the way things were when that's the thing that you were trying to get out of in the first place, right? And I think of that all the time. So this whole call tonight is truly like, I hope I'm provoking in your mind, like, just some thoughts around what's my next move, right? Like in the beginning for me, my next move was like just ripping the Band-Aid and starting. Well, you guys all did that. You all joined, right? Joining a training was one of my first next moves. Selling something just so I could believe that I could was a first next move. Inviting and just committing that I'll never miss a month of hosting a challenge group, come hell or high water, even if nobody cares, even if no one participates, even if there's no likes on any photos, I'm still going to show up and run these groups because I want to learn how to do it. I'm going to create a team page because I just want to learn how to lead better and talk to people and craft my own leadership voice. I just want to sign a coach and go Emerald because I want to learn how to do that and see that I can do it, right? I want to actually commit to a program. Maybe that's your next move. Maybe your next move is an event, a super Saturday, a super weekend, a summit. And right now, obviously they're virtually, but like get connected to them, right? Maybe your next move involves ranks, like we've talked about. Maybe, sometimes in my next moves, it was just staying afloat, right? Like when I was facing depression, I just had to stay like a little bit afloat. My next move was just don't quit, and so maybe some of you get in seasons of your business where it's like, just don't quit. Because when you get through this, because you will get through this, there's something on the other side, because the struggle is the way. The struggle is the way. Every season I went through tonight, as I was like writing this out, there's struggle in all of it. There was a challenge, there was a hiccup, there was a roadblock, there was a setback, and it was the way, right? I keep hearing us talk about momentum and motion, and I've got this momentum, and I really believe our team has some great momentum right now. And I looked up that momentum. So momentum is mass in motion. If we want to go back to like elementary school real quick. Mass in motion. All objects have mass. You, me, we all have mass, right? So it's us physically moving. That's momentum. A team that has momentum is on the move. So your next move can never just be, I'm stuck, I'm staying still. Because actually in the world we live in right now, when you decide that you're stuck or you're standing still or you're not going anywhere, or you're just going to wait for that thing to happen, you're going to wait for a gift, you're going to wait for a prayer to be, like, when you just sit and do nothing, you're actually falling behind. Because everybody that sits and does nothing right now, everyone else on our team that's building momentum is just pulling ahead, right? And it's this like tension that doesn't feel good. And so you've got to know that the struggle is the way, and that your next move, standing still, won't move you forward. Waiting won't move you forward. Stuck won't move you forward, right? You have to actually move. Like, I want momentum, I want motivation, I want this. You actually just have to do something, right? And I hear it from my challengers all the time, or when one of the top things I hear when people fill out my form is, I just don't have motivation. You guys hear that ever? I just don't have motivation. And I'm like, okay, me either. You know how I get motivation? I just do it. And then I learn over time that it actually feels better to just do the stupid thing than not. And so that's my motivation, is I don't want to feel crappy. My motivation actually isn't like because I feel so great. It's I don't want to feel crappy. And so that drives me. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to scrub toilets at Orange Theory Fitness. So that's my motivation that drives me. I don't want to go back to a school teacher that was just living, I got $696.27 every 2 weeks and clockwork. That's all I was paid because that's all I was worth. Hell no, that's not all I'm worth. There's no cap to what I'm worth. And I don't even just mean financially, you guys. There's no cap to my worth, because God put me on this planet to do amazing things. And I've known that my whole life. And I know that about each of you. That's the thing. I don't sit here and say it like about me. I look into each of your eyes, into each of your stories, into each of your hearts. And I know that God put you on this planet for incredible things. At Summit last summer, and I'll kind of land our plane here. At Summit last summer, they did a different sort of thing where they did like breakout sessions based on rank. And because our team had done so great, and we were in the 2-star bracket and higher, there was a very special, exclusive 2-star and up only training. Man, did I feel like I wasn't worthy for that. I didn't feel worthy to be included there at all, because I was sitting like, you guys, I was sitting next to, Melanie Mitra was sitting right behind me taking the same notes I was taking. What the heck? This chick's been top coach like how many times? More fingers than I have on one hand, I think. I don't know. She's really good at her craft. And I just felt like I wasn't worthy to be in that room. Anyway, what I learned though was that I was worthy to be in that room, that all those people were the same as me. They put their pants on one leg at a time as me. They failed probably way more times than I did to get to the place that they were, right? They were just willing to fail more than I was. And Lindsay Matway took the stage. Lindsay Matway is she's been in the top many times, but she's an OG coach. Should look her up if you've never heard of her, Lindsay Matway. She's pretty awesome. She's actually the very first female top coach that Beachbody ever saw. So this whole trend of females like dominating the Beachbody place, it started with her. She's pretty awesome. She was a bartender. That's what she did. She bartended. And she was bankrupt, and they were coming to take her house, and she built a freaking $1 million Beachbody business. Pretty insane. Anyway, enough about her. Her story. So she got on stage and she said that she believes there's 2 of us. that there's like two faces of us, right? Like there's like the glow up version of you, like the best version of you that could have ever been created. And there's like a picture of that, right? It's like the photo, like if I could Photoshop myself right now and make myself look like a freaking model in a magazine, that's it. And then there's like haggard Brittany, like just rolled out of bed, like kind of, you know, don't care about much. My hair's a mess, no makeup on, like bags under my eyes, not living my best life, right? Like, or maybe living my best life, depends on what angle you want to take with that. But you get the difference. There's like two versions of me. And she said that she believes that when we die, and when you get to heaven and you meet your creator, whatever you believe, that when you do meet your creator, that there's going to be this moment where you're going to see both versions of yourself. You're going to see the version of yourself that did everything that you were put on this planet to do. And you're going to see the version of yourself that settled and didn't. And she said that when she meets her creator, her prayer for herself is that she is that picture of, she's that other picture, right? And she had like a visual for all this. But it was just so powerful, that imagery of like, you know, there's so many things that get in our way, our own self-doubt, our own fears, our own limiting beliefs, our background, our upbringing, other people's opinions. I mean, just the list could go on of all the things that could hold you back. But I think that imagery right there of just like, do you want to get to the end of the road and realize that you didn't give it your all in whatever capacity? And I think that it wasn't until I stopped apologizing that I realized this concept, because before, to me, it was just Beachbody. It was just like these workouts and these shakes and like this challenge group thing. It was just Beachbody. It was this thing. And when I stopped apologizing and I realized that this was like, I could live my life through the lens of a coach, meaning I could live my life in a way where I'm continually growing, continually getting better, continually learning how to serve in better ways. That's when it changed everything. That's when it changed everything. So back to that pyramid one more time really quick. So this is, like I said, this is kind of where it is. The foundation is here. Your next move might be, you're good with the self-care, you're rocking it. Maybe your next move is you need to start living the life, you're living your life through the lens of a coach, developing a brand, developing a voice, being the kind of person that turns heads on social media simply because people can't help but not to. They hear you when you talk, right? Maybe your next step is you just need to get better at talking to people, which, guys, you get better at talking to people by talking to people, right? Remember that time at Orange Theory Fitness? Like, I just got better because I was kind of in a situation where I was forced to have to get better, right? So put yourself in that same situation. Maybe your next step is you got to run groups. You got to take ownership, right? Because when you have a group to fill, you're going to put far more pressure on yourself to fill that group and run that group to the best of your ability than you are if you're adding people into someone else's group, right? Maybe for you, it's, you got to get more laser focused about growing a team. Bring people on board to do this with you. And maybe for you, you've been growing a team and your next thing is leadership. How do I lead a team? How do I get others to do what I'm doing, right? And then remember that throughout all of that, you guys, we never stop growing.